First of all, a big congratulations to Kiran Rao and the entire team for becoming India's official entry for the Oscars. It's a huge achievement, but honestly, I couldn't help but think about Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine As Light. It won the Grand Prix just 3 months ago, and in my mind, I thought this had to be the frontrunner for this year's Oscar entry. Not to mention, All We Imagine As Light has experienced international distributors and producers, giving it a much better shot as an official entry. Plus, if you check out the studios behind it on Letterboxd, you'll see that these guys know their game. If All We Imagine As Light had been sent as the official entry, we could have seen Payal Kapadia bring another massive achievement home and represent India on a global stage. But here's where the problem starts. Just take a look at the movies the Film Federation of India even considered for official selection. But how on earth do Hanuman, Chhota Bheem, Kalki, Kill, Animal, and Mangalavaram even make it on a list of films meant to represent India at the 97th Academy Awards? Now, let's see what Jahnu Barua, the film director and chairman of the Film Federation of India, has to say about this selection process.
We are given 29 films to watch, and with all equal attention, we have watched those films in depth. And the kind of criteria we are given, and that truly, the film which should truly represent India to the Oscars. From all factors, we found that this Laapataa Ladies, that comes to the forefront.
So women empowerment.
Women empowerment. Yeah, women centric. It's a women centric, but I will not go into the details.
Right.
But it's a fantastic film actually. That we, I think it is something which even the Indian audience also, they should be proud of. Yeah, it is difficult. As I said that we make largest number of films in the world. To choose one film out of that, it is a difficult process. And on top of that, we do not have a proper system that way. It is very difficult to develop also a system, and how to choose one film. And because being a democratic nation, each one has an equal right. So to enter and all, to make the entries and all. But out of that, that when the package is given to the selection committee,
Right.
and that we try to do the justice to that. In a way, actually, we should not be very much we should not be concerned that way. Yes, Oscar, of course, is very popular around the world, whole world, and everyone tries to go for that. But in a way, sometimes what happens, it is very English language centric. That also we need to see that somewhere other countries like India, suppose, is traditionally it's a different kind of tradition, different kind of say a whole lot of languages are there. That way, somewhere it gets goes into backbench. That way, when people try to compare that, So sometimes right film actually doesn't get into that. Right. So we make good films, no doubt, but as I said, that to create a system to select the best is also another problem.
Now here's why I think winning an Oscar is a significant achievement for any country. Because it represents global recognition in one of the most prestigious award ceremonies in the entertainment industry. When a country wins an Oscar, it symbolizes an endorsement of that country's filmmaking quality and creativity on the world stage. This is particularly true for international films that often struggle to gain attention in the English-speaking markets, which dominate the global entertainment industry. An Oscar win elevates the visibility of the country's cinema, making it more attractive to global audiences, distributors, and film festivals. For example, South Korea's Parasite winning the Best Picture Oscar in 2020 was not only a win for Bong Joon-ho, but for Korean cinema as a whole. It increased interest in Korean films worldwide, bringing more attention to the films they produce. The win also brings pride to the country, validating the cultural and artistic prowess of its storytellers. In many ways, it becomes a matter of national pride, much like winning in sports or scientific achievements. Another thing is that an Oscar win can provide a massive boost to the local film industry in several ways. A country's film industry that produces an Oscar-winning film is likely to receive increased financial support from both the government and private sectors. This is because the award serves as a stamp of approval, assuring potential financiers that the country has the talent and capability to produce world-class films. In South Korea, following Parasite's win, there was a notable increase in government support for films and incentives for international collaborations. Films often showcase a country's landscape, culture, and history. An Oscar-winning film can boost tourism by piquing the curiosity of audiences worldwide. Consider Slumdog Millionaire, which, though directed by British director Danny Boyle, shone a light on India and led to a surge in international interest in Indian culture, tourism, and the film industry. An Oscar win also fosters job creation within the film sector of the country. The demand for local talent from actors to technicians rises as global production takes interest in collaborating with a country that has earned such recognition. This ripple effect is seen across the entire film ecosystem, from education to related industries like technology, fashion, and design. For individual filmmakers, an Oscar can serve as a career-changing event. The exposure gained opens doors to international markets, allowing filmmakers to work on bigger, higher-budget films and collaborate with globally recognized talent. Directors of Roma, Parasite, and Birdman are examples of how winning an Oscar elevated the standing in the global film community, giving them greater creative freedom and budgets to execute their vision. The spotlight also shines on actors and technicians from the country who find new opportunities in international projects. Cinematographers, editors, and composers, roles that usually operate behind the scenes, can see a dramatic rise in their professional prospect after working on an Oscar-winning project. Historically, the Oscars have been criticized for being predominantly English language centric, and this is partially true. The primary categories such as Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and so on have traditionally been dominated by English language films, largely because Hollywood itself is the center of the Academy Awards and produces most of its films in English. For many years, non-English language films were relegated to the Best International Feature Film category, which was seen by some as a secondary or marginal recognition. This made it challenging for international films to compete on equal footing with Hollywood productions. However, there has been efforts to diversify the Oscars in recent years. Parasite's win for Best Picture was a landmark moment because it was the first non-English language film to take home the top prize. This shift signaled a growing recognition to world cinema by the Academy, indicating a move away from English language dominance. Despite this, the language barrier remains significant in terms of distribution and audience reach. English-speaking countries, especially the United States, still command a large share of the global film market. International films, especially those without large marketing budgets, often struggle to gain traction in these markets unless they win major awards like the Oscar. The Oscars, as a globally recognized institution, wield immense influence over not just the US film industry but also over global trends in filmmaking. A win at the Oscars often determines which films, genres, and narratives are valued, shaping what filmmakers worldwide aspire to create. This has led some countries to adjust their storytelling to be more Oscar-friendly, a phenomenon sometimes referred to as Oscar bait, where filmmakers aim for themes and styles that resonate with the Academy's preference, such as socio-political commentaries, war dramas, and biographical films. In addition, Oscars influence distribution pattern. An Oscar win can mean wider international distribution for a film, giving it access to markets it otherwise wouldn't have entered. This directly impacts a country's film industry as the international appeal increases potential revenue streams and opens up a bigger market for future films from that country. So that was my rant on why an Oscar win is so important and how the movie we send has a huge impact on the industry. But the question still remains, why not choose the film that already won us the Grand Prix? Since we're on this topic, let's take a look at the top picks the FFI considered before finalizing Laapataa Ladies as the official entry.
Thangalan was one, and there is one Valai from Tamil. That is, there are two Tamil films. Srikanth is also, everyone liked it. That's the third one. And there's one undercurrent Malayalam film is also part of it. So that's also again based on two characters. But when compared to that, this one has got more voting, and all the 12 members finally we decided to do this.
So Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine as Light wasn't even considered in the top 5 picks, despite the massive recognition it received from multiple corners. Director Salim Ahmed, whose film was India's official Oscar entry in 2011 in the Best Foreign Film category, pointed out that films part of prestigious festivals have a much better shot at winning. He mentioned A Separation by Asghar Faridi, which won Best Foreign Film that year, had a strong festival run compared to his own film, which was relatively unknown internationally. In terms of appeal to international audiences, Ahmed noted that All We Imagine as Light definitely had a better chance, especially when you consider last year's Grand Prix winner, The Zone of Interest, which went on to win the Oscar for the Best International Feature. So after feeling even more disappointed with the results, I went down a rabbit hole to figure out the process behind the selection of these films. And sure enough, I found this official press release by the FFI, which announced the opening of applications to choose India's entry for the 97th Academy Awards. The Film Federation of India is an apex body that represents the Indian film industry at both national and international levels. Established in 1951, it unites various regional film associations, production companies, and distribution networks across India. Its role is crucial in promoting, safeguarding, and developing the Indian film industry while also acting as a bridge between the government and the film fraternity. The entries for the submission of the film were open from 15th August to 10th September 2024. FFI nominated Jahnu Barua as the chairman of the jury, the same gentleman we heard from a few minutes ago. The press release also stated that all films would be screened and the final entry would be decided by a vote on 27 September 2024. But here's where it gets interesting. It's only the 25th of September as I'm recording this. Why not wait a few more days and select a film that's already brought international attention to India? Like All We Imagine as Light. The press release also quotes Mr. Kotarakara saying, India is marching towards another amazing year in movies and entertainment. And we are proud that Indian movies are making a mark at various international platforms, including the prestigious Oscars. Producers had to fill out an application form and the film had to complete a minimum 1-week run with the censor rating. Plus, there was also a non-refundable fee of 1,25,000 plus GST that the producers had to pay the FFI. There were a few more submission rules like film producer, artist, and technician should be Indian citizens with Indian passports. The content must be 60% in the local dialect and there should be a subtitled version in English. After going through all this, I realized that the list of films I got all riled about was just the list of films that the producers applied to get into the race for the official selection. So I guess I owe the FFI an apology for shitting on them for the past few minutes. But then comes another announcement from the FFI, declaring Laapataa Ladies as the official entry to the Oscars, accompanied by a small citation for the movie. You can pause and read this if you want, but honestly, all I could think about while reading it was this.
सूरज, मुझे वो हसीन दर्द दे दो जिसे आज के बाद मैं किसी दूसरे के साथ ना बांट सकूं और मेरा ये जिस्म सिर्फ तुम्हारी अमानत बनकर रह जाए।
सवाल भी करती हो, जवाब भी मांगती हो और फिर मारती भी हो।
मर जाओ, मुझे कोई परवाह नहीं।
Laapataa Ladies being chosen as India's official Oscar entry when you have All We Imagine as Light is proof of a vague selection process that refuses to think beyond Hindi cinema. Laapataa Ladies was a good film, no doubt. But it's crazy that the jury chose this in the right mind when we had Atam, Vadai and All We Imagine as Light, a Cannes Grand Prix awardee, all in the same year. I don't think anything can be done now to change the decision, but what do you think? Is nominating Laapataa Ladies as the official entry to the Oscars a good decision, or should it have been another film? Do let me know in the comments below, and if you're watching till the end, do subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video.